What's going on, you guys? It's your huggable hipster here, and welcome back to another video. I was about to say casual nerd, you know, another review. No. We're not going to be going into any of that today. Today, I'm going actually into my first ever lore video. I did not realize that this was my first lore video. I've discussed lore in podcasts that I've actually done with my co-host Shass, which you guys can check out down in the description below, but I've never really, myself gone into a lore video. This is how much I am loving Dark Souls right now, okay? So let's get into it. You guys, Dark Souls has become one of my favorite games, if not my favorite thing I've ever seen in a very long time, in years. There are just so many questions in my head that I have to go through with, do I ignite the fire and possibly just restart the process all over again of where the gods are satiated, everybody is happy, but there's a burrowing problem underneath, or do I go into the age of darkness where humanity finally rises up and takes hold of everything? There's a lot to question here. There's a lot to go over. I myself am almost to the last boss battle in the game, and I'm on Artorias currently, as you guys know from those who watch my streams, and me struggling constantly. You guys know I posted a poll on Patreon, which it got stuck at 50-50, and then I had to go over to Twitter, and then for a good hour it was stuck at 50-50, so the cycle just continues. Just constantly. Honestly, it just continues of 50-50. You guys chose where I discussed the lore behind the four lords. Now hear me out on this. This is actually a very perplexing situation because I don't want to take lore that other people have talked about. I want to talk about something unique, but the only thing unique that I could really think of to talk about is how the four lords are in comparison to a metaphor for the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. That's it. This was the only thing I could really think of right now to make a lore video out of, because a lot of people have really come up with amazing lore videos. I mean, I'm gonna link some of them down below because they're just absolutely incredible. Okay, the Dark Souls community is smart. You guys are hella smart. So Gravelord Nito as the spirit, it is kind of like how Hades is the guardian of the underworld. You have Gravelord Nito, who is the first of the dead. Nito participates in the war against the everlasting dragons. Using his lord soul, Nito unleashes a miasma of death upon them. After the war, Nito resided within the tomb of the giants, where he governed the death of all living things. He also has a cult devoted to spreading death called Gravelord Servants, who kill in other worlds to prove their duty to Nito by presenting him the eyes of death. So Gravelord Nito, he's a badass, okay? He's like the goth kid in the back going, oh hey, you know what, don't pick on me because I'm here planning out world domination. Then you got the Witch of Azalea, where it states here that the witch uses her powers of her lord soul to weave great storms of fire against the everlasting dragons. She passed fragments of her soul over to her children, the daughter of Chaos and her only son. Like her children, she had ashen skin and blue lips, though she stood much taller than them and seems to be of identical height to the staves of her children used of flame sorcery. As the fires faded, she tried to create a new flame to replicate the first flame, but it backfired and ended up costing her life. Which there's a lot of speculation that the Bed of Chaos is the Witch of Azalea, so I wouldn't be surprised if we, actually have already fought the Witch of Azalea. But technically we did get a Lord Soul from the Bed of Chaos, so I wouldn't be surprised if that were the Witch of Azalea. But it also goes into stating here that many years later the demons began to die out as the flame of chaos began to fade, much like the first flame did, which it's technically our job to replenish the flame as the chosen undead, which I think is just such a kick-ass name. Like, hey, what's your name? I'm the chosen undead, bruh. Okay? Don't come at me. So you have the Son and the Holy Spirit, but where's the Father? Oh yes, Gwyn, Lord of Cinder, who really oddly enough kind of reminds me of Zeus. Gwyn used his power granted from the Lord Soul to create bolts of sunlight. Very Zeusy. Used to peel the scales from the dragons, his race has widely varied in physical appearances, though most have whitish skin and usually taller than the humans. However, there are many exceptions to this standard. Gwyn became the king of Lordran and bestowed fragments of his soul to Nito, the Witch of Azalea, Seath, and the four kings of New Lundo. He had 4 loyal knights and a host of the Silver Knights. Executioner Smo also wished to become a knight, but was seen as unfit due to his cannibalism and his big man boobies. In fear of the Age of the Dark, he sacrificed himself to the first flame, prolonging the Age of Fire and becoming the Lord of Cinder. This act rendered Gwyn hollow. What is going hollow exactly? Well, it could be a metaphor for depression within the game, that going hollow means you're lacking interest, you're lacking motivation, you just lack the desire to exist. So you're basically this hollow creature going about life without any motivation except what your primal needs are: to feed, to sleep, and to kind of dwell on what could have been. Now, it also goes into stating that at some point his firstborn son tamed a storm drake and allied with a dragon descendants. For this treachery, he was stripped of his godhood and banished, albeit not by Gwyn, expunged from all records of history. I like how they have like a record system. They just have like this record keeping system. I bet Karen's up there being like, I got expunged. I want to speak to your manager. Where it gets kind of weird, because I also have a theory that Gwyn's son was Solaire. Okay, the guy who's like, you know, praise the sun kind of thing. I really honestly think that that was his son, and that's the person who got banished, poor thing. Then you have the fruit of pygmy, also known as mankind. Now this is where it gets zesty, kids, okay? Now this is where it gets interesting. It states here that unlike the other lords, the Dark Soul did not have any instantly apparent effect on the pygmy. They appear to have looked like generic hollow before claiming their soul. The fruit of pygmy ultimate role, actions, and fate are largely unknown. He is mostly forgotten. Now it says largely unknown because this is subjective. This is where you get into the territory of each hollow has their own lifeline, their own skill set, which is why you can actually, and this is my own theory by the way, I feel like there's no, you know, instant goal for this undead warrior, because this is why you have so many choices of the things you can become when you first enter into the game, and why there is no set difficulty level either. Think about it. Why is there no set difficulty level? Because you are meant to adapt through the skill sets that you choose, and through the things that you adapt over time, through the weapons that you ascend. And I also heard a theory that the items that you collect and the descriptions beside them, those are the thoughts of the undead chosen undead person. Those are the thought processes that he goes through, and how that person is describing those items. Which, if that were true, that would be just so cool. It also states here that the fruit of pygmy's ultimate role, actions, and fate are largely unknown. He is mostly forgotten save for inheritance of Koth and some inhabitants of the Ring City. Now, this is where it gets interesting, because you know how I said that, you know, Gwyn is the father, you have Grave Lord Nita, which is the son, and then you have the Holy Spirit, which is the Witch of Azalea. You can easily attribute this to Greek mythology as well, where Grave Lord Nito is Hades, the Witch of Azalea is Hera, and then you have Gwyn, Lord of Cinder, who is obviously Zeus, and then you have mankind, which is the fruit of pygmy. Now, you could also say that Hercules would have been a fruit of pygmy because of the fact that he was sent and, in a way, banished to being a human, but then he found his godhood again, and he found his strength in essence. Now, I could do an entire video on humanities and hollowness and all that kind of stuff, so let me know down in the comments below if you want more kind of like my own interpretation and you know, more lore videos and everything, because this is an area that I would love to get more into. I love looking at lore, and especially this game has such a the lore in this game is vast. One thing you guys have to remember is that, at least from my interpretation of this game, is that, you know, you have Anor Londo, which looks all pretty on the outside, but it's empty. It's all a lie. But then you have, you know, kind of like this yin and yang type thing of where you get to see like the down and dirty, like the really just nasty sides of this game, which is also coupled with how society is versus how the gods are treated. Because you have different sides of the coin here. You know, you have Anor Londo, you have the Firelink Shrine, you have different assets, really, that you can go into. Darkstalker Koth is there to warn you that the Age of Fire is just going to prolong what is eventually going to be an inevitability of the Age of Darkness, of the rise of man. They're prolonging, kind of just keeping the band-aid on and letting that fire just last forever and ever and ever. And then you have Frapt, who's like, go there, son, seize the day, and don't forget to get me a donut and, you know, a coffee, because I need that. Frapt is there like, yeah, go, get that, you know, Lord Vessel, and put all those souls in it. Just pile it up with souls. Pile it up with souls, and then go feed Gwyn, and then go put your hands in the fire, because ouchie, and then you'll become the next flame. Like, what exactly is happening here? You are literally sacrificing yourself for a for a government. Like, that's exactly what it is. Like, this entire kind of like wolf in sheep's clothing concept with putting your hand into the fire and letting yourself rise. Yes, I did see spoilers of the end of the game, okay, don't judge me. Of where you have to literally like be like a phoenix and rise again so that the cycle keeps on continuing. But what happens if you don't put your hands in the fire and then you go the completely opposite direction and you don't, like, you know, bend to the will of this government type thing? You go and you are literally the king undead or queen undead. You are there and you are just, you bring in the age of darkness, the age of mankind, what the fruit of pygmy would have really wanted. You know, now that I'm thinking about this video is probably all over the place, but I don't regret a single bit of it. But you guys, I hope you all enjoyed this video. If you guys want more lore videos from me, and if you guys want me to cover more things with Dark Souls, because for all intents and purposes, this channel has just become Dark Souls. Like, I also made a very, kind of, well, not stupid decision, but, you know, very, I'm a glutton for punishment, if you guys haven't noticed. After we play Dark Souls, I'm going to be diving into Bloodborne. And then after Bloodborne, we're going to be diving into Dark Souls 2 and 3 for streams. Man, I'm gonna be real hollow. But you guys, that was it for me. If you all like my face and what I do, please be sure to subscribe and hit the bell down below, because I make videos every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and double uploads on Saturday if I can. And I also stream every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, now at a new time from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. I love morning streams. I've missed doing them. Now I can take the nighttime and just, I can cleanse my hollowed soul, which is, you know, kind of an oxymoron, but we're going with it. But you guys, stay casually nerdy. If you guys want to see any more of my content, please be sure to click here, get my watch time up. We are getting close. We're getting closer, okay? I know I'm mentioning watch time a lot lately, but I will be damned if I'm not going to make it to partner this year, okay? I've worked too damn hard, and these videos are just sitting there. Why don't you click on it? It's there. It's waiting for you. Click on it. Click on it. I swear. I'll go in. Here, you know what? No coffee until you click on the video.